All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a question that's, well, a little uncomfortable. It lives right at the crossroads of love, money, and what we think is right or wrong. And honestly, it's probably a question that's crossed your mind at some point, even if you didn't say it out loud. And there it is. Let's just put it right out there. If a marriage is purely a transaction, money and security in exchange for, well, everything that comes with marriage, how is that fundamentally different from the world's oldest profession? It's a tough question, for sure. But we're not here to judge. We're here to actually understand the logic behind it. Exactly. And that's the whole point, right? This isn't about being provocative just to stir the pot. This is a real, serious philosophical question that people have been grappling with for a long, long time. So let's give it the serious consideration it deserves and really break it down. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we first have to look at what these two things are, on paper. Before we get into all the messy human emotions and motivations, let's just look at the basic contracts, the structures of these two arrangements. So on a purely structural level, they're worlds apart. Prostitution is, by definition, a direct short-term deal. Money for a specific service, time limited, and that's it. The obligations end when the transaction does. Marriage, on the other hand, is a massive, long-term social contract. It's designed to be this all-encompassing thing. Shared finances, property, family, legal ties. It goes way beyond any single exchange. Right. So we've got the official black and white definitions down. But we all know life is lived in the gray areas. And now we're getting to the heart of your question, that blurry, uncomfortable space where the function of a relationship starts to feel very, very different from its official label. And here's the thing. Your gut feeling here is backed up by a lot of smart people. For centuries, philosophers and sociologists have argued that if you strip away the love, the partnership, the mutual support from a marriage, what do you have left? Well, you have an economic exchange that's just kind of wearing a marriage costume. So this is where it gets really fuzzy. The lines blur when the affection you see is just an act, a performance. When sex isn't about intimacy but becomes an obligation, a duty that's tied to financial support. It blurs when one person is only in it because they literally can't afford to leave, and especially when there's a huge power imbalance where one person basically holds all the cards. The label might say marriage, but the day-to-day reality feels a lot more like a transaction. So if the personal moral line can get so blurry, how does society manage to keep a straight line between the two? Well, the official distinction drawn by our laws and culture, it's not actually about the purity of your love. It's about the scope of the agreement. This chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at the expectations. In prostitution, they're super specific and limited. In a transactional marriage, even a loveless one, the expectations are huge and broad. You're expected to be part of a family, manage a household, provide care. And then look at that last one, exit cost. The cost of leaving a transactional marriage is astronomically high, legally, socially, emotionally. So even without love, society sees marriage as this incredibly complex web of duties that a simple transaction just doesn't have. Okay, here's where we pivot. This is the most important part. We've been comparing marriage and prostitution, but maybe that's the wrong comparison entirely. Let's try to reframe this whole thing to get to a much deeper truth. We've spent all this time thinking that the big moral question is about one thing, but what if that's just a distraction from what really matters? The true moral question isn't about pitting these two labels against each other, because as we've just seen, a relationship under either label can be respectful or it can be deeply exploitative. The label doesn't decide its moral worth. So if that's not the right comparison, what is? Where should we actually be drawing the line? And there it is. That's the whole ball game. The real moral divide isn't between two labels. It's between two ways of treating another human being. Is it a cold, simple transaction where a person is treated like a commodity? Or is it an interaction based on mutual dignity, respect, and freedom? A marriage that traps and coerces someone is stripped of dignity. The hypocrisy is in judging one label while giving a free pass to the other without ever looking at the principles underneath. So let's tie this all together into one big final takeaway. What's the main thing to remember after thinking all this through? This. This is what it all comes down to. The true moral value of any relationship. I don't care if it's a marriage, a friendship, a business deal, anything. It's built on these four pillars. Is there real, enthusiastic consent? Does each person have agency, the power to choose for themselves? Is there mutual respect? And is it free from coercion, free from one person controlling the other? These are the things that matter, not the legal name you give it. So, we'll end by turning the question back over to you. After all this, what do you think really gives a relationship its worth? Is it the label society puts on it, or is it the actual substance, the respect, the kindness, the dignity that exists between the people inside it? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.